Hi, I'm Nina from Ground Sounds, and today I am here with John and Nick from the local band, Columbus band called Doc Robinson. Thanks for being here, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate your time.
Yeah.
It's a very exciting time to be interviewing Doc Robinson because they're about to drop their first full-length album called Deep End.
Yes.
So, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we started the whole project about a year and a half ago, and we started the album itself probably like 8 months ago, and it kind of became this big community project without our intending to. Like, I think by the time the record was done, we ended up having like 16 different musicians and, kind of from all over the music scene play on the record, and kind of became a big collaborative experiment.
A bunch of friends,
Mm-hmm.
guys that are like, basically family to us. At this point, if they weren't, they are now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, it's a community project, in a sense, because we come with the song, with a demo, and we basically we ask guys specifically because of who we hear playing the songs, like a no-brainer type thing. There's certain drummers that we're like, oh, they'll kill that. And same thing all the way down the line.
And the kind of vibe we're going for in that song, we'll kind of like pick the players for the studio based on what kind of song we were going for. So we had like 2 different drummers and 3 different bass players, and like so it was like playing the same instruments, but we also just kind of did like our laundry list of everything we ever wanted to put on a record. Like we had timpani drums and horns and strings, and just kind of like threw the kitchen sink at it, and really happy with how it turned out.
That's great, and those are all local?
Yeah.
Well,
musicians?
no, I mean, actually, they're all essentially local. But we had a buddy who just happened to fly in from New York, and we were like, oh, did you hear Larry Cook's in town? We should have him come in and play some bass parts on, not just songs that we hadn't had a bass part down, but stuff that we knew he would do well at. There was a glissando that we needed on a trombone, so we called in our buddy who was in New Orleans. He put together a session in New Orleans, but he's originally from Columbus. He's one of the original Columbus collective guys that we would have called anyway, and he knocked it out in sense.
During Mardi Gras.
Yeah, during Mardi Gras. So it was really good.
So what do you do when you play live shows? How do you recreate that sound?
We get a lot of the same guys kind of from the studio. It's gotten to the point where it can be a little bit awkward because we want everyone to play on the record. We've got like overlapping positions, but we usually have like a 7 or 8 piece band when we play live, and it's become cool to watch how invested the dudes who play on the record have become in being there for the live shows, where they're like, that's okay, we don't get paid for this gig. Like they're invested in what we're doing.
Because if the music sucked, I don't think they would do this at all. So it helps as a testament to the songs when not only are they telling us after gigs that they thanks for the call. We're like, no, thank you for being here, and just because for us we're starting a new project, and it feels like
we're kids again.
Yeah, we're exactly. We're 18 years old and we're promoting our new band, and it's something we've done before, so we had an easier-ish experience the second time around. Yeah, we did some things the right way that I feel like I was pleased to find like, all right, so this guy's booked for a session. That's great. Like I didn't think it would happen that easy. That kind of stuff.
It was just cool after like the Kickstarter show too. Like all these guys are guys that like play music for a living, so it's like gigging is just a part of life. So it's cool when like after the Kickstarter show and like they all were texting like, that was just such a great show. I had such a good time. It
was a gush fest.
It was like for those guys to like say something like that after a show, it's like, man, you guys really, we had a moment. Like that's cool.
So what do each of you contribute to the band?
We write the tunes, and then we both sing. And
early when we first started collaborating, like Nick would have either a session already built out with like an idea for a demo, and I would come in and we would just take a look at verses and start writing lyrics. A lot of the time, it's a kind of a no process is the same, but when we start from scratch, we try to think ahead of even before we put music to anything, or even before we write lyrics. Even we'll start like developing a story.
We'll have like a kernel, like an essence.
Yeah,
like
that's the word we use. It's like the essence of like what do we want this song to be about? But not only that, like who's the character and what's the main thing you're trying to be conveyed? Because I mean, like from my experiences back in the day, writing songs, a lot of the time I would take many different scraps and anecdotes and things and put them together, and I never had a bad experience. But yet there were sometimes people are like, "What's that song about?" I'm like,
yeah, doesn't come out quite as cohesive. And
yeah,
that's the great part with co-writing too. I think is that like
Exactly.
you have somebody checking each decision along the way lyrically, where you're like, all right, how does that connect to our story? That we
how does
have
that connect to the story, and can we beat that line?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. That's something we say to each other all the time too. Is like, can we beat this line? And like, really takes that like setting aside what you think it should be to like hear out, you know, the other person's idea, and that's kind of the cool collaboration.
It's easy to settle on something sometimes if you're writing by yourself or if you're writing with a band, because if there's too many moving parts, you're just like, it's good, let's leave it. But there's times where it's like, there's no pressure, let's just, if we can beat this line, let's get it perfect. And then on, you know, a good, you know, fist bump when it's solidified.
And you classify your music as backyard barbecue breakup music, right?
Yeah.
That
kind of happened.
What's that mean?
We were in like we were recording the first EP, that Golden Days EP, and we were all just hanging out in the studio. It was kind of like a buddy's day. And
Super good vibes.
We were just eating chicken, and we were just like, this is like, you know, they're these sad breakup love songs, but they just feel so happy and fun, and like we were putting together the concept for the first video for It's Over, and it was like, this dude had just broke up with his girlfriend, and so we were trying to get him like back out to the world.
His homies are trying to reacclimate him to society or whatever, the party world, because you know it's like this very down and dreary thing that we noticed that like pretty much all of our songs had a very
actually applied to
we were
most
like,
of our songs.
These are all pretty much kind of the same subject matter, so we I mean that was not a hard thing to coin, and honestly we had some people that were in like publicity that were even like, that's one of the first things that we saw. I wanted to ask you guys about. And we were like, we didn't do that on purpose, but
it had like a natural stickiness to it. People were like, what does that mean?
Yeah, at least it's a conversation starter.
Yes.
Yeah.
So any influencers, musically and non-musically?
Too many.
Yeah.
I feel like during the course of every song that we're writing, we're just like, we'll be like, oh, the Shins and Bone Thugs and Harmony and you know, Beatles and Smokey Robinson, and it's just kind of like we grew up at the same times, like you know, we've got so many of the same influences. It's just kind of like an effortless part of the songwriting process. We're just like pouring out like, oh, and like this song from this artist, and it's like, oh yeah, like that, you know.
Yeah, we're both kind of like, you know, like he said, we're from the same generation of you know, the TRL thing too. So like a lot of our references are like 90s R&B and that kind of stuff. Like, so we're writing these kind of like indie folky pop songs, but yet all the references we're making are like Boyz II Men and Macy Gray and that kind of stuff. So it's really funny, and our influences are as classic as it gets, all the way to all the classic rock and R&B and soul music. Including, you know, classical music and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's really just like we throw so many influences out there and references that it's not even stuff we necessarily listen to a lot. It's like, this song reminds me of this, we should take this kind of a drum feel from this song and try to make something like that happen, you know?
It's kind of like we're just digging around in the attic, like looking for something, and like, oh, look at all this shit we listen to.
Yeah, for real. It's a really good one.
And the band name, Doc Robinson.
That happened in our first writing session.
Yeah, I was like, that's good.
we were trying to describe like the kind of sound we were going for. We got together to write It's Over. That was the first song we wrote, and we were like, you know, all right, meet in the middle between like Smokey Robinson and Dr. Dog, who's like one of our favorite like indie bands, and so it was kind of like Doc Robinson were like the two bookends of the way we wanted to sound.
Yeah, which is I mean, and we're both like sports guys, and to me it sounded like an old like baseball, basketball player, or somebody from the old. It sounds like an old blues guitar player or something.
Dr. J or something.
Yeah, so I was just like, that's a classic sounding name, and it's, you know, it means something to us. Yeah. So we tackled one of the hardest things about starting any project, business, band, company, anything. That's like any brand. That's one of the hardest things to come up with, and we've had numerous people be like, "How did you just settle on that, and it was kind of like one of these things.
Yeah, like lucky coin kind of thing.
For real.
It turned out though we started looking around on the internet to see if like Doc Robinson had been claimed yet.
Yeah.
And there's this famous fighting rooster named Doc Robinson that has like tons of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And all these hatches of like the roosters like squired by Doc Robinson that are fighting roosters.
Super beautiful, proud rooster.
They're
and we're
noble
just
creatures. Yeah.
We just can't miss, man.
Yeah. So but our video comes up like 10th after all these like rooster videos on YouTube. So it's good company.
So you've got your album coming out. What's next?
The next album.
But we recorded a song for the new LP that actually we decided to bump from the LP and release. We're going to release it on its own on a 7-inch record. We asked a local. He's a hip hopper, but we had we didn't really have a good idea of all the things he was capable of doing. His name's Corey Parks. He's a hip hopper. I say because calling him a rapper doesn't do him justice. He's a really talented dude. He can sing really well. And so, long story short, we had this dude come in and rap some verses and sang this like beautiful part that kind of like made the tune. And so we decided to make a music video for it. We recorded it a couple weeks ago. Some of the footage is from Doodah Parade.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess the next thing is we're releasing a video for a song called I'm Not Gone. And actually, I mean,
it'll be on the record on Spotify.
Right.
It didn't make it to the final because you can only have like 18 minutes per side.
Okay.
So we maxed out.
Yeah. So we've got two music videos. One for a song called Drive Slow, which we were really fortunate to collaborate with the Columbus Idea Foundry, or the Greater Columbus Arts Council, Jenny's Ice Cream, Denial's Pizza, the Doodah Parade. All kinds of people helped out, and just another one of those Columbus community ventures that we are grateful for.
Mm-hmm. And we can find your music on Spotify. And when can we get the album?
The 22nd of July.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And where can we see you play?
July 22nd will be at Skulls.
Yeah, that's the release.
Yeah, that's the release. Yeah, so that's
I get those dates mixed up, and it's the same date, and I'm going.
So do you see a tour coming up or anything?
There's potentially we may be it's not confirmed yet, but we may be doing a opening spot for some buddies of ours on a national run. So we're kind of just leaving all options on the table and seeing what happens.
Well, hopefully that's the plan. It wasn't the plan at first, to be honest. We just kind of wanted to get together and write some songs, and then fast forward 2 years or a year and a half, and we're just like going with the flow.
Let's go.
Yeah.
That's great. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Doc Robinson?
Man, there's like a million people we could sit and thank every time we get in front of a camera, but really it's just we're really lucky. We're waiting for our lucky coin to run out, but we've had some super fortunate experiences working with awesome people.
We had a moment where we just got done shooting the first part of the last video, and we'd had just all these different organizations come through and help us out, and we were loading up our gear. So I'm trying to find something. We were loading up our gear at the end of this 12-hour day of trying to shoot this video, and all these people had come through to help us out. But I walked back to my car. He looks down at the ground. There's 2 pennies sitting there face up, and we just both took one. I still have it somewhere. I thought I had it in here.
Yeah, mine's in my gig bag and with my other my luck charm area. It's
that's kind of
when I don't have my bag. But it's we're lucky dudes. We know we get to make good music with good people, and it's been a really fun ride.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to Ground Sounds.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Hey everybody, I'm John.
Hey, I'm Nick. We're Doc Robinson.
And you're watching Ground Sounds.